Halo community is one of the most outstanding, passionate communities in video gaming. Sure, there are a few toxic elements that are found in all communities, but Halo astonishes me to greatly admire its universe and its lore behind it. You could have your moments of serious combat and action that pumps your blood, or you could have wholesome teabag gestures with some rando on the internet. And with the existence of MCC that gives players the ability to play all the main Halo games, we get to see Halo evolve from looking like a simple tech demo to a more complex array of abilities and mechanics that simulate the true feeling of what it takes to be a Spartan. And thus, Halo 5, the latest in the main line of games that dates all the way back to 2015. And since the lack of updates and the fairly large file size, it's understandable that the popularity of the game dwindled. Prior to spending months being addicted to this specific game mode, I started to become disinterested in the lack of additional content. Let me kind of explain. So, Halo 5 would implement a microtransaction system of buying rec packs that came in bronze, silver, gold, and occasionally platinum. You could also unlock armor and title cards. These microtransactions did come with the benefit of having all the major updates to be free on Xbox. Having the last two most recent updates being Monitor's Bounty in 2016 and Overtime in 2017, it seems to me that 343 has been focusing a little bit less on Halo 5 and a lot more on MCC and the next Halo game, Halo Infinite. When I mean Halo 5 has been put on the back burner, I mean that, like, as a daily player, I grew bored of playing the same infection maps over and over again that weren't even made by 343. I know I'm a little bit off topic, but that was my mindset after putting so many hours into Halo 5. I also felt that the microtransactions were relying a lot on players spending recs on Warzone. Halo 5 only had 8 Warzone maps, and while they are massive and rich in detail, it just wasn't enough to keep me invested into spending money on such a game mode. And I overall just stopped playing Halo 5. But there was one game mode that brought my interest back and made me realize how great Halo 5 really was. And that, of course, was Husky Raid. Husky Raid is an altered version of two-way capture the flag. The bare bones of the concept itself would be a single lane that is symmetric in length. This lane would connect two bases of 4 Spartans that would have to compete past the no man's land center and infiltrate the opposing party's base and take their flag. And here is where the chaos comes in. All Spartans spawn with random weapons, including the rare variants that pack a punch to the base weaponry. These could include the White Scar, a Type 53 plasma bolt launcher. This fires modified bolts that are laced with sub-Benese crystals, giving them a needler fragmentation effect. Or how about the Prophet's Bane, which was the Arbiter's personal energy sword. This gives you active camo and an increased lunge. There are a lot of powerful weapons that makes predicting the enemy's advancements much more difficult and thus more surprising. In addition to random weapons, Spartans also spawn with and can hold up to one singular grenade, probably to minimize spamming but also to intensify the carnage. Laying in the middle of their spawn, flags are difficult to capture but are possible with the proper team plays. I've always found rushing to the flag and trying to one-frame grab it while thrusting myself back as a sometimes effective and fun tactic. However, nothing can predict that sudden rocket launch via a ratty opponent. Snipers can be a bitch. Beware of the dudes that love to empty their clips before resupplying and advancing forward to your domain. Always remember that a plasma caster can be as effective as a can of Raid as you carefully fire at their base camp. On certain maps such as Gutter, which features a staircase dividing the two squads, this promotes close-quarter combat that could lead to some successful base infiltrations. This was no game mode limited to Halo 5. This game mode dates all the way back to Halo 3. According to a post I found on Reddit, we received word from a user known as a Husky Old Guy, who had claimed he created the term, which was later confirmed by 343. 343. The post provides evidence to his old file share that reveals a sandbox map known as a Husky map. Since MCC Remaster lacks a feature to transfer file shares from previous generations, there is no available footage I could find on the original map. Many 343 forgers can agree that the two go-to maps to create were Foundry and Sandbox. Foundry came out first, and Sandbox came out soon after. A Husky old guy would create a version of both. When Sandbox came out, I opted to make it up in the Skybox, you know, for the added humor of pushing people off the bridge to fall to their deaths. You see, the original idea behind Husky Raid is meant to be two small bases connected by a single skinny bridge with no cover, safe spots, hiding, or any unnecessary jazz. Just two bases, a bridge, and utter chaos. This meant that the maps featured in Halo 5 Husky Raid's playlist are simply a modification to the original idea. A Husky old guy mentioned that the idea carried over to Halo Reach, as he created the concept on Forge World, as well as Halo 4, as we are no longer within the landscapes of Reach, but rather the dark depths of space. Which brings us back to 5. While a Husky old guy did make a version in Halo 5, his version was not available in the Husky Raid playlist that we know. At first, Husky Raid can only be found in Action Sack, Halo's minigame playlist, but following requests from the community, 343 announced a limited time Husky Raid playlist that stood available for several months. And even today, you can play it in a playlist mixed with Super Fiesta, a Slayer with randomized weapons. Halo 5 would introduce 23 community-made stages that varied in obstacles. Maps like Classified, Dominious, and Swamp Fever featured an arcing path that would require and encourage stronger team pushing. Raid on the Control Room was a pretty cool map. It had a fork that looped around a center orb, which meant that you had 2 lanes to keep an eye out for. Or how about Metawave? It's Vaporwave. Putt-Putt utilized a teleporter that could teleport players to the opposite side of the quadrant. Slipnir was fucking awesome, dude. It had 2 planes on top of each other that are linked via teleporter, and if you're lucky you can get a ground pound kill from the top lane. Stand Clear was another really interesting one. It had a train that would come in from both directions, and it would cause some serious ragdolling. Now I gotta show you this solid game my team played on a map called Reclaim. The enemy scored twice early, which lowered my confidence of winning. However, Husky Raid is fast-paced and anything can change within minutes. I kept using the Plasma Caster as crowd control, thus assisting my teammate to push for the flag. After the flag was out of spawn, we knew there was still hope. The tug of war resulted in us getting the first flag. Our confidence was back as we pushed again, and with the help of a Halo 2 BR and rockets, I was able to push the enemy back for a second cap. With only a minute left and overtime in sight, I thought it would be unnecessary. With a sword in hand, I forced myself into spawn and caused uproar that resulted in the final flag to be snagged and us taking back a swift victory. I'm telling you, this shit should have been put on fucking Nick Gas. It was so damn intense. Pickle. Obviously, there are dozens of user-created Husky Raid maps outside the matchmaking playlist to choose from, one being this really Toy Story-esque ant farm level, which actually has some pretty terrifying looking ants. Mineral takes you into the depths of a mine that kind of resembles Glitter Gulch Mine from Banjo-Kazooie. It's a relatively small map, and there's kill areas in really unobvious spots. Submerge is one of my favorites. It takes the battle inside an aquarium in which you can swim in the water. I'm sure fans of Bioshock or Killing Floor's futuristic cyberpunk style would find Sky Gears to be up your alley. I mean, look at it, it looks really cool. Unfortunately, there's walls everywhere, so I couldn't really go to the other floats. What made Husky Raid special to me is how fast your skills can gain through playing it. Combats in Husky Raid happen much faster, therefore giving your body more opportunities to improve on things such as accuracy, team play, power weapons, grenade chucks, and the list goes on. It's also great for getting all those sweet commendations. Halo 5 has a mixed perspective in the Halo community. There are a lot of people that are fans of Halo but never saw an interest to 5. While 5 tried experimenting new ideas and mechanics, it kinda sparked a fork in the community. Not everyone was happy with where 343 took the series exclusive to Xbox One players. Some issues included Halo 5's sinful action of removing split-screen multiplayer, being the first Halo to do so. And also, Halo 5 was incomplete at launch and took 343 several months to add Halo staples including Forge and even Big Team Battle for like a month. The Forge in 5 was super intricate, very interesting, but with that comes a wider learning curve, and by the time Forge came out, the Halo 5 hype was already diminishing. Following 2017, Halo 5 has been pretty much untouched and confirmed that no new content would be coming anytime soon. Unfortunately, I feel as if Halo 5 has been completely abandoned by 343, left to ferment in the fridge as it stands outshined by its peers. Husky Raid reminded me of the chaotic good times of the Master Chief Saga, the Halo 3 and Reach custom game lobby days, the notorious Fat Kid and Duck Hunt maps. Halo 5 changed its focus to more competitive, hardcore gaming, with its addition of thruster packs, Spartan charges, ground pounds, and default sprint. All these abilities take a lot longer to master than in comparison to the pick up and play factors of games such as Halo 3. But having all these mechanics combined in a game mode that utilizes dozens of legendary powder weapons made Halo 5 really shine. It displays everything that 343 did create for the game. A fast-paced combat environment that is rich in scenario-altering capabilities that, once mastered, can project the true illusion of being a Spartan. Husky Raid made me reconsider my thoughts on Halo 5 as a whole. My frustrations aside, I'm still kind of on the fence on Halo 5 being a proper Halo game. I guess only time will truly tell. Let's hope that Halo Infinite takes a thunderous step towards a wonderful community. Oh yeah.